Okay, a very warm welcome to all my students and all my audience to the fifth episode of Meet My Diamonds. So today, alongside me, I have Sangeeta Pal from Department of Law, Hazra campus, and right now she is in her fourth semester. And I would like to inform all my students that she has done excellent in her second semester examination. Their results have just come out and she has secured 393 marks out of 500. So, a very warm welcome to you, Sangeeta. Thanks a lot for participating in the interview today. So, having said that, I have already introduced you. So, now I would just start off with the self introduction. My first question to you, Sangeeta, would be what was your schooling background and where do you stay?
Okay, sir. So before starting with my introduction, I would like to thank you, sir, for having me here and giving me this opportunity to share my experiences with all. So coming to my introduction, myself Sangeeta Pal. I did my schooling from the Aryan School. I did my secondary and higher secondary from there itself. And after securing 97 percentage in class 12, I got admission in Department of Law under Calcutta University. And presently, I am in my second year, fourth semester.
Okay, thanks a lot for the answer, Sangeeta. My second question to you would be what motivated you to study law? What are your dreams after 5 years?
So there are actually a lot of reasons what motivated me to study law or why I chose law as a career. Because firstly, definitely, law as a career is actually very noble profession, and also there are a lot of career options that one can have, or it opens up actually. So apart from going for litigation or practicing in court, one can go for corporates as well. They can go for judiciary or be a law professor, or they can also apply for various legal officers posts in government departments like in SEBI or in RBI, which exclusively requires a degree in law. So also apart from that, I've always been curious to know about what rights a citizen possess. So I think there cannot be anything better than law as a career to end my curiosity. That is why I chose.
Okay, that was a very good answer, and I would like to inform all my students যেটা অনেকেই জানে না while studying law সবাই আমরা এটাই ভাবি যে practice is the only option or the only door available to me, but that is not so. আজকালকার দিনে that is not so. After pursuing law for 5 years under University of Calcutta, if you want you can definitely practice. That is, you can go into litigation, or else you can sit for the judiciary exams as well, that is West Bengal Judicial Service or Tripura Judicial Service as well, because the syllabus is very similar to each other. Plus at the same time you can go into the corporate sector as well, and you have a range of government jobs as well. You can become a navy officer, you can become an air force officer in the legal department, and many other options are also available. Okay, Sangeeta. Now tell me about your family background. By that I mean whether you are the first generation or you have some of your family members in the legal profession.
So no, I don't have any of my family member from the legal profession. So I am the first generation lawyer.
Okay, very good, very good. So in this respect আমি আরেকবারও বলে দিতে চাইছি to all my audience যে just because we are the first generation, অনেকের এটা একটা thought process থাকে যে I am the first generation, so I am under immense pressure, আমার কোনো family members litigation এ নেই, so it will take me a lot of time to get established. But that is not always correct. If you have the potential in you, if you have the fire in you, if your communication skills are good, if your personality is strong, then definitely within 2 years 3 years of your practice life, even if you don't have much contacts, even if your parents or some of your other family members are not from the legal profession, even then you can establish yourself and you can make a mark in the legal profession. So in this
Rightly
respect
said.
আমি আমার অডিয়েন্সকে আরেকবার বলতে চাইবো she has done excellent in her second semester. She has already secured 393 out of 500, and she is one of the highest scorers in her second semester results, with the topper being I think around 408 409 এরকম কিছু একটা মার্কস ওপরের দিকে গেছে, and she is a very good student, she is a very hard working girl, and I hope she will continue to excel in her academics. So now moving on to the next question, Sangeeta. What were your feelings or immediate emotions after checking the results?
I finally, actually, we have been waiting since a very long time for our results to come out, and finally, when I checked my result, actually, there was a sense of satisfaction in me. Why? Because I saw improvement in my marks from what I secured in my first semester. So I think there was definitely a sense of satisfaction in me. So when we secure a certain marks, either we should stick to that position or try to improve. And seeing my improvement, I was actually quite very happy. So the long wait was actually worth it.
ইয়া এখানে সঙ্গীতা যেটা বললো, আই উড লাইক টু ইনফর্ম অল মাই স্টুডেন্টস অ্যান্ড অডিয়েন্স যে ওদের রেজাল্টসটা ওয়াজ ডিলেড, ভেরি মাচ ডিলেড, অ্যান্ড উই ওয়ার নট এক্সপেক্টিং সাচ আ ডিলে। মানে ওদের এক্সামটা অলমোস্ট আ ইয়ার অ্যাগো হয়ে গেছিলো, অ্যান্ড দ্য রেজাল্টস হ্যাভ কাম আউট জাস্ট নাও। সো দ্য ওয়েটিং ওয়াজ ওয়ার্থ ইট, অ্যাবসলিউটলি কারেক্ট। So, moving on to the next question, Sangeeta. তো আমাদের সেকেন্ড সেমিস্টারে দেয়ার ওয়্যার থ্রি নন ল পেপার্স, that is English, political science, and sociology, and two law papers, that is contract 2, that is special contract, and family law paper, that is Muslim law. So out of these five papers, what was your favorite paper and why?
So my favorite paper was Muslim law because I was not very much aware about how Muslim law in India works, and me not belonging to that background, I was actually quite very curious to learn about it. I actually enjoyed learning the concepts of different form of divorces, how marriages happen under Muslim law, which is actually quite very different from Hindu law. Also, there were recent changes that happened, that Supreme Court struck down the triple talaq. So definitely, I learned a lot about it. Also, since it is an uncodified law, so we do not have to memorize sections. That was definitely a brownie point. Why it was my favorite paper.
Fair enough, fair enough. So in this context, I would just like to add on to what she said. আমরা যখন ফার্স্ট সেমিস্টারে হিন্দু ল পড়েছিলাম, সো হিন্দু ল ইজ আ কোডিফাইড ল। তো ওইখানে উই নিড টু লার্ন আ লট অফ সেকশনস, অ্যান্ড সাম অফ দ্য সেকশনস আর ভেরি মাচ সিমিলার টু দি আদার সেকশনস, সো দেয়ার ওয়াজ আ চান্স অফ গেটিং কনফিউজড অ্যাজ ওয়েল। কিন্তু when we studied Muslim law in our second semester, since it is an uncodified law, আমাদের আলাদা করে সেকশনস পড়তে হয়নি, উই হ্যাড টু কভার দেম চ্যাপ্টার ওয়াইজ। সো মুসলিম ল ইজ ডেফিনেটলি ফার মোর স্কোরিং in comparison to Hindu law. Absolutely correct. So moving on to the next question, Sangeeta. What was your study timetable and how did you manage time between the law papers and the non-law papers?
Definitely, between the law papers and non-law papers, I gave more attention to the law papers as compared to non-law papers. Also, talking about the timetable, I am actually a night person, so I generally prefer studying at night because it is the time when there is peace and my mind actually works at best. So definitely, we need to focus more on law papers because 5 years down the line, we have to deal with law related to subjects related to law. So I think more importance and focus should be given to law papers as compared to non-law papers.
অ্যাবসলিউটলি কারেক্ট। সো এখানে আমি জাস্ট একটুখানি আমার বাকি স্টুডেন্টসদেরও বলতে চাইবো, কিংবা স্টুডেন্টস হু ওয়ান্ট টু পারসিউ ল ইন দি ফিউচার। তো এখানে শি হ্যাজ গিভেন দি অ্যাপ্ট অ্যান্সার। মানে দেয়ার আর 5 পেপার্স ইন এভরি সেমিস্টার। সাম স্টুডেন্টস ট্রাই টু ডিভোট ইকুয়াল টাইম টু অল দ্য পেপার্স। দ্যাট ইজ আ রং থট প্রসেস। রাদার উই শুড বি ডিভোটিং মোর টাইম to the law papers and less time to the non-law papers, কারণ non-law papers will not stay with us during our professional life. Our professional life will be guided by our legal knowledge. Absolutely correct. So we need to devote more time in the law papers. Okay, moving on to the next question, Sangeeta. Since you are coming from ICSE background, you are not used to 16 marks questions or 8 marks questions. So in this context, how to construct answers if it carries 16 marks, how to write the answers?
Okay, if a question carries 16 marks, generally 4 to 5 pages should be written. The points should be actually properly elaborated. And especially for law papers, if there are any exceptions or if there are any explanations, we should include that in our answers. Also, we should give illustrations, and citing case laws is actually very important, which actually gives a very good impression on the examiner about your paper. So, this is how I used to write 16 marks questions.
Absolutely correct. She has correctly told us that if a question carries 16 marks, then we have to write at least 4 to 5 pages. মানে For every 4 marks you need to write one page. Mane this is what I used to tell them when I used to take their classes. For every 4 marks you are writing one page. So from that perspective, if a question carries 16 marks, you are definitely writing 4 pages, and you can extend the length of the answer max to max to 5 pages. Okay, moving on to the next question. What is the importance of highlighting as well as underlining the important portions or the sections of your answer?
Okay, sir. So the importance of highlighting, it is actually very important while we are writing the answers, because it might happen that when the examiner is checking the paper, they might overlook important points, because since we are writing very long answers, so it is very important to actually draw the attention of examiner towards the points, towards the important points that you have written, so that it does not get overlooked. So that is why I think highlighting is quite very important, and actually it gives a lot of very nice presentation to your answers when you highlight things or write in bold.
Absolutely correct, absolutely correct. তো এখানে আমি এটাই বলতে চাইবো, when an examiner is correcting a paper, that particular examiner is not correcting only one student's paper. He or she is correcting a lot of papers within a time span of 2 to 3 hours. So from that perspective, it is the responsibility of the concerned student to make a good presentation. He or she must be having a good handwriting. There should not be much scribbling, and the overall presentation along with drawing the rough work maybe if necessary, or the margins, is very important if you want to secure good grades, because a good presentation along with good handwriting definitely carries a positive image. It has a positive impact in the mind of the examiner. Yeah, so moving on to the next question, Sangeeta. Whether tuitions or any kind of guidance is really necessary during the semesters, or just doing self study and attending the college lectures is enough? What is your personal opinion?
So, it is actually quite a very subjective question, but asking about my point of view, I would say that seeking guidance is actually very important. Why? Because when we are in our school, we never studied this law subjects. We do not generally have these law subjects in our school time. So, actually, when we enter the law school, these law papers, understanding provisions and all, it's actually quite very difficult. Also, there are a lot of interpretation part, and we all know that where act language is actually quite very complex. So in those situations, actually guidance is actually very important. So definitely self study is, we have to do whether we take guidance or we do not take guidance, because teachers can actually explain you the concepts, but at the end of the day it is you with your books. You have to actually register those concepts in your mind. It is just that when you take guidance, the concept clarity or concept understanding part is actually half done. Only just you have to sit with your books and just revise the concept so that it gets registered. So definitely self study is very, sorry, taking tuitions is very important along with self study.
Absolutely correct. Fair enough. So what Sangeeta just told us, yes, we can do self study, but একটা জিনিস আমাদেরকে মাথায় রাখতে হবে যাতে each semester is of only 6 months. So time span is very less, and within that 6 months you don't get the entire 6 months, because you get just 4 months, and in the 5th month you have the exam. So from that perspective, doing only self study may become a very cumbersome process, and from that perspective, if you take a guidance, it becomes a little easier to cover the entire syllabus, as well as to get a clarity as to how much to write, from where to write, and how to make good presentations in the exams. Fair enough. Moving on to the last question, Sangeeta. What would be your tips and suggestions for all the students who will be appearing for their second semester exams, that is your immediate juniors who will be appearing for their second sem exams in another 2 to 3 weeks? What will be your suggestions?
So actually, first the foremost important thing is concept clarity, because that is very important. Then secondly, I would say that memorizing the sections actually is very important, and writing it 3 to 4 times before the examination so that you don't forget the sections, because writing sections actually is very important during when you are writing the law papers. Also, we should focus on presentation portion, writing Like good handwriting is very very important. Along with that, highlighting things are very important. Also, citing case laws is very important, because we all know this law, what the law is, but case laws, when we study the case laws, we get to know how those laws are applied. So the application we get to see in case laws when we study the case laws. So in which circumstances the law will be applied, in which circumstances it will not be applied. So that is very important. Also, time management is very very important, especially during the examinations. So beforehand only we should actually allot the times, which how much to write for how much marks, and especially for a 16 marks question, at least half an hour should be given. Also, 5 to 10 minutes should be given for at the last for the revision, because that is very important. Often when we are writing very speedy, so we often miss out points, or we often do grammatical mistakes or spelling mistakes whatsoever. So in that case, I think when we do the revision, we get to know if there are any mistakes, and we can rectify that. So these are the tips I would like to give to my
Absolutely,
immediate
absolutely.
students.
Thanks a lot for your suggestions. And in this context, I would just add on to what she said. So, one of the most important suggestions which came out from her talk was good handwriting. Good handwriting, along with good presentation, is one of the most important things in order to catch the attention of the examiner. And number two is definitely time management. We all need to keep in mind that there will be 10 questions. Each question will be carrying 16 marks, and out of those 10 questions we have to attempt 5 questions, মানে আমাদের 5টা question attempt করতে হবে out of 10 questions, and the time allotted is 3 hours. So if we divide the time with the number of questions, একটা rough calculation করলে আমরা এটাই বুঝতে পারবো যে in each question we need to allot 30 minutes, not more than that. And once we are done writing the entire paper, we should also reserve 5 to 10 minutes so that we can go through a revision process, so that we can make sure that the question numbers have been properly marked, I haven't missed out anything, any last minute corrections or modifications এই জিনিসগুলো করার জন্য। Okay, Sangeeta, it was lovely having you in today's session. You have shared a lot of insights, you have answered a lot of questions, and you have answered all the questions very meticulously. And I firmly believe that this interview will be seen by your juniors as well as your batchmates, and they will definitely be motivated so that they can also study hard and definitely secure good grades in the long run. Thanks a lot again, Sangeeta, for joining today's interview session. Any parting words,
Thank
Sangeeta?
you. Uh, Definitely, I would say that to my immediate juniors, especially, that what are the tips I gave, they should keep in mind all of that tips, and concept clarity is actually very important. They should keep that in mind. Yes, that's it.
Okay, Sangeeta, thanks a lot. I am ending the interview session over here. Hold on.